tell if you're internally screaming or just having fun and laughing.
Cool. Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Kevin started us off already. I
Oh,
was
cool.
laughing apparently. I mean, I know that, but yeah, I'm here with Kevin Lee
Hey, I'm back again.
against his wishes, maybe, maybe not.
Uh, I'll just forget that I was here again after we finish this.
How I need to give you like a little doggy bag afterwards.
Why?
I'll give you like some vegetable
Like a
from the
goodie bag?
Yeah, here, take some
You called a goodie bag
kale.
a doggy bag?
Whatever. Whatever. It's like those Chinese American restaurants, you get a little.
Yeah, but I'd still doggy bag makes it either sound like you had to pick up some dog's poop or like something that like it's like I feel like it has much more negative connotations than like a goodie bag.
Well, thank you for correcting my semantics, Kevin. I appreciate it. I will continue using doggy bag then.
Oh, he's just giving poop to people.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yep. If you want to be a guest and you want to get some poop, please talk to me,
I mean, technically, if you give me vegetables, they do help digestion.
and I'll help you poop.
Yeah.
That's
In the end, you're correct.
that's beautiful, man. That's So, I see you're wearing a mask. A very nice green mask.
Yeah. It's really hard to breathe, actually. But it's whatever. It means
You
it's
don't have
working
to
if I
keep
can't.
it on.
Huh?
You don't have to keep it on.
When I'm in other people's homes or in any public place, I will, or anywhere that's not my own home, I will keep it on unless told by others to take it off. That or when I'm told to eat, because I'm not eating with a mask on. But like, general,
So I have to command you to take it off.
pretty much.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm also wearing a mask. So if the sound quality is a little scuffed, that's why. But continuing. So okay. Well, let's just keep it on.
Just talk about
I don't
the
know.
mask I made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
mean,
beautiful.
it's not really beautiful. It's so the reason why I have this mask and I actually made like others is cuz during the start of when the pandemic started getting worse, um my mom's where she works were like, "You know what? You're still coming to work. Like whether you want to or not, you're still coming to work." Of course, then people started to get sick. Like an entire layer of her building got
Ooh.
sick. And they're like, "Okay, no one's coming to work." And they're all working at home. But like the higher ups on in her company want everyone to go to work. Like
Mhm.
not her manager, cuz like her manager specifically wanted like he was like secret, well, he secretly, the only reason why I say secretly was because he asked people to get like doctor's notes, and then like one lady didn't feel like getting a doctor's note and felt like continuing going to work because like the work time, like if you work from home you're expected to get on at 7 and work until 5, but if, or not 5, 4:30 to 5, but if you drive to work you're expected to get there at 9 because drive time, and you can get off at like 3 to 4. So like she's just like, I might as well go to work at the company. I get to work less. And so she just kind of didn't feel like getting a doctor's note. And so my mom's boss was just like, "Yo, like my carpool buddy already got like a note saying that she's at risk, so she's not coming to work. So like, do you want to like carpool with me to the the bus stop that you take to go home?" And so she was like, "Sure." And like the entire way to her bus stop, her boss was just complaining about her coworker who just didn't feel like getting a doctor's note. So and it forces him to have to go to work because if anyone's at work, he has to manage them, so he has to be there.
Oh
And so he
man.
was really upset. Of course, that person eventually got to, like did like decide, okay, I'm gonna like work from home. but like he was pretty upset.
So you made
But
masks for
so
your mom.
so her boss doesn't want her to, like, doesn't want people, right? But his higher ups want people to go to work because they genuinely don't care, like, if people go to work or not. But like they think that
Mm-mm-mm.
productivity is better at the company, as well as the fact that the higher ups own the building that they work in, that other companies rent out. And because of that, they're losing money by other companies saying, "Hey, we're giving our employees like time to work at home, so we don't need it. Like, we shouldn't have to pay rent because we're not using it." So they're kind of like being like, "Okay, our employees, you need to go to work, so we can tell other people like, hey, you can't complain. We're taking our employees to work. You need to take your employees to work, or at least pay us for rent." So like, um, they like every so often they'll send a mass email, be like, "You're coming back to work," and then the pandemic gets worse, and then they don't have to, right? But so the reason why I make the mask is like the second time when they're like, "Hey, you have to come back to work." Um, I made a bunch of masks for my mom because like I saw that like cloth masks work better than like or double layered cloth masks work better than the disposable ones, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's also just like you don't have to buy that much because you can just wash them, and they're really easy to make. It took me like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to make one,
Wow.
because you I found a tutorial and it's just like cut a circle, like cut a cloth circle. I think it's 15 inches in the diameter, and then cut it into quarter circles. Sew the round parts together, um for two of them, and then flip one and sew the sides together, and then you have a mask. And then all you need to do is like do the connected parts, which you just stick. That's actually the hardest part because you have to like sew one layer without sewing the other, so it doesn't show. But they're
Wow.
not that hard to make.
A man of many talents.
The sewing is really ugly, but you just can't tell
I can't.
because the sewing is all on the part that my face is breathing on.
Yes.
The side that shows does not show the stitching.
Just
So,
hide all of your brokenness.
not brokenness,
Oh, no.
just uneven stitching. Because like literally what I did was, instead of like poking the needle like all the way through to sew each one, I just got the needle, got one hand, stuck the needle facing upwards on the table, and got the cloth and just folded it over the needle until like it wouldn't stack on the needle anymore, and I just pushed the needle through, and then I just repeated until I got around the quarter circle, which makes it so that the stitching is uneven, but it's very fast, so it doesn't really matter because like because it's inside out anyways, so like it just holds together. Like this has been in the washing machine like 3 times and it hasn't come apart.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
Mhm.
Is it? I'm curious about the strap part. Is it easy to take off and stuff?
yeah, and just
Okay.
took it off.
Do you like need to like retie it often, or is it only like after you wash it?
So I actually adjusted this so that specifically fits on my face. Like even after washes, because this is a part of the strap is a part of the t-shirt, so I just cut off a thin strap of the t-shirt and then pulled it so that because the way they sew the cloth is so that it has elasticity, but I pulled it out so it has no longer has elasticity, so it doesn't stretch when I throw it in the washer, and it doesn't shrink as well. Um, so like it just fits on my face now, so I just put it on and leave, and then when I need to wash, just toss it in the washing machine. So pretty convenient.
Okay. Making the most of your resources.
Yeah, but like I think the biggest thing that this mask has taught me is like I touch my face a lot, like way more than I already knew I touch my face a lot, but like it I like one of the examples is like I was going to Costco and like I decided that like since I was buying water and like other stuff groceries for my family, I was just like, hey, I should just get a sundae because I like the sundaes from Costco. and like the sundae I specifically got was like kind of melty, and so I instinctively like got my finger to clean it, and like I wiped it on the side and just stuck it to my face, and then I realized like, oh, I have a mask here, like so I just had to walk out of Costco with like this like bit of ice cream on my mask and just be like, huh, wow, I just instinctively did that without any thought. If I didn't have a mask, I would have licked my hand that has been holding this the cart handle for like 20 minutes. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I also clean. I'm very cautious. So like, I bring my own wipes, and I like clean the handle and I keep it on the handle. But still, like the idea of just like instinctively licking my finger, even though my hand has definitely been places in Costco that like I probably should wash because you don't know how much times people touch something and put it back. So it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting walking out with a mask.
It's a part of you now.
It pretty much is. I don't leave home without it. Actually, it's more of it doesn't leave my car unless it's in the washing machine.
Hmm.
Because I have a tendency to forget things. So. And I always have a backup mask in my car so that I will always have a mask even if this one's in the washing machine and I forget to take it out.
Wow.
So.
A man that is prepared.
A man that has both parents over the age of 50, with one taking medicine for high blood pressure and has a risk of diabetes, and the other one who's over 60. So,
I'm trying to give you some points here, Kevin.
I'm not going to take points right now.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is
what it feels like to be on Adrian's side. I see.
Oh my. Just what is it with us not taking compliments?
I don't know. I only take compliments when I feel playful. Like, and I'll take it in like the most I'll take it in like the most infuriating way possible. So like even if someone insults me, I'll just like, "Oh, thank you." Like that means so much to me. And like
Oh my
just to
goodness.
like annoy them. So like that's the only time I take compliments. And like I'll take insults as compliments as well. So like I don't know. Is that an Asian thing? Is that like a
Yeah, it feels like a pretty Asian thing.
or is it like is it our generation's thing? Like
I don't know. I mean, I am kind of stuck in a bit of a Asian bubble.
Yeah. Cuz like we are like encouraged to like
Be humble.
No, it's not like I'm not talking about Asian community, but like our generation, right? It's like we are encouraged to like accept others for the way they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that translates to like how they perceive like what other people state about them. Probably not. Probably just because we're Asian. But then Asians really like to brag, or at least our parents' generation really like to brag. Like first generations like to like talk about what their children have done and talk about what they have done.
It's like one of the many hypocrisies, I guess.
I guess. I mean, the thing is like my parents don't even like brag about me though. So like I can't even say like I got that from them. Cuz like I mentioned before, like my mom's dad was like an English professor and he was Christian, and so like he has a lot of Western influences. So she raised me more of like an American, like so I'm more like third generation or like 2.5 generation. Than I am like second generation American. So like she did immigrate here, but like she already kind of the only thing she didn't know was the curse words basically. So
yeah, I don't know. It's been a interesting journey for myself. I think not long ago I was talking with somebody about like, well, yeah, this topic, and like I think with friends it's like different. It's more easy to deflect that and stuff. But if it's like acquaintances or strangers or like aunties and uncles, you kind of just need to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I guess it's like it could derive from like the nature of comparisons and like the fact that like, because I know my parents don't really compare me to other people. Well, at least my mom doesn't. My dad does, but like half the time when he compares me, I'm just like whatever. Like he's been getting much better, but like in the past, like he would like nag me about like my room not being clean, and I'd walk into his place and I'm like, my room is like the same amount of disaster zone that your room is. So like I can listen to you, but I'm not gonna respect that. Like my mom has told me to clean my room, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I'm annoyed, and I don't feel like cleaning it because it's just gonna get messy again. But like, I'll respect that because like, her room is very pristine. Oh, my parents sleep in different rooms because they both snore a lot and they keep each other awake, and they're just like, we're not dealing with this anymore. So, but my mom's room is like pristine, and my dad started like keeping his room really pristine ever since our house got invaded by ants. So like now when he tells me like, oh, you need to clean your room, I'm just like, all right, fine. But like in the past, like he would just be like, oh, like you should do this because like these people, or like, oh, you should do this like so and so. And I think like because of like we're used to either our families or like other people in our communities comparing us to other people, there's that idea that like there's always someone who's better than you. And like
I've internalized that.
like
Oh man.
I think I either consciously or subconsciously like a bunch of people in our generation might think that way, which makes it so that it's hard for them to take compliments. It's really annoying when you give someone a compliment, they can't take it though. I do acknowledge that because I had to deal with that a lot. Though I still have a bad habit of not taking them myself. Oh,
I don't know.
If you guys could see his face right now, even with the mask, I could tell he's annoyed.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Like the idea of someone's always better than you. I don't know. I feel like for myself, I never had the opportunity to be like proud of being like the best or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there was just always like a prodigy or something at my church, but there was always somebody that was like, wow.
I mean, I think it comes down to like each person is good at one thing, and so like if someone's a prodigy at something, it's more likely that they're not a prodigy at something else than they are a prodigy at something. But like
they
because
invested too much INT.
Yeah, but like because of because of the nature of like how people compare other people, you're only going to see the best of other people. I think, and like this is something that like my family has accepted pretty early on. It's just like, or early in my life, my parents recently accepted this. But it's more of like the reason why like I feel like my parents like because my mom used to not get in arguments with my dad specifically because she felt like it was unhealthy for her child to see parents argue. But like now they don't get in, because when I went to college, I told my mom straight up like, argue with dad. I won't feel bad. I encourage you to yell at him if he pulls any stupid crap. And so like, but she never really did that. And like she got to a point where she just had a conversation with him and was like, we can't compare ourselves to like other people because there's always going to be like someone who's doing quote unquote doing something better than us. But that's because when you show yourselves to other people, you're only going to try to show them your best side. And so it's like when you compare, it's someone's always going to be better than you because like you might be like you might have your life more together, but maybe like they might just be at this one thing more better than you in general. And so like there's always going to be like double positive. But oh geez, now you're making me conscious of my grammar because I already know it sucks.
No.
Anyways, but like there's the idea of like you only see like this perfect picture perfect thing of like how other people are. So like when people are comparing, it's just like, oh, this and this. It's like you're not going to be like if your friend's like really, or if like your like cousin or whatever is like really good at piano and like you're subpar, your parents aren't going to be like, oh, look at their grades, you're doing better than them with grades. Your parents are more likely going to be like, look at how good they are at piano, they're like going to all these like
Yeah.
crazy like recitals and stuff and performing. So it's like, I think it's like that idea of like there's going to there's bound to be someone better than you at a certain craft, not necessarily better than you at life though. And I feel like all of our lives are just messes though, so that's just my own personal thing.
Wow. It's so deep, Kevin. We're not even 20 minutes in. Are we? Maybe we are.
I mean, you know I do this. This is
I know.
you know that I don't like being in my own head because I do this. Though usually
You
if I
should
don't,
write a book.
if no, it's going to be like a bunch of ramblings of this like dude, and like people are
It's
just going to read
okay.
it, and they're just like, there's no consistency in this man's words because like I'll be on one topic for like 10 minutes, and if I'm given the freedom, I will go from like talking about like church stuff to like talking about like some politics to like talking about like some friends to talking about like how my mom is surprisingly like I know this, but she's way more mean than I give her credit for. On a side note, like people have always told me like my mom is super sweet. Like a bunch of my friends who come over, like my mom always offers to make them food, and like when Alex, our Mexican friend, came over, she made Chinese Mexican fusion. And like so she tries to like tailor her food to like match people's like tastes and stuff. And like or like if she can't, then she's just like, okay, time to buy like 2 Costco pizzas for everyone. So like she's like really hospitable, and so like a lot of people like say like, oh, she's so nice. And then like I get into conversation with her, and like so like I got a haircut recently, and the reason why I got a haircut is because I was in a conversation with her, and she's just like, oh, and this is all in Chinese, so it comes off more fluent in Chinese, but she's just like, oh, I really don't like how your hair looks right now. You look like the dumb cow of a friend that I have. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, Mom, I know you do this, but I wasn't expecting you to say that. And it's like, it's because like the person had like she's a female, but like she had pandemic hair, but like short pandemic hair. So it's like a dude who kind of just like let his hair kind of like grow up in a puff and never like let it grow too long, but never too short. So it's just like I'm just like I know you can say mean things because you've called someone a a dragon girl before, and like in the connotations of Chinese, it's because dragons typically have a poisonous breath and they look really ugly. So it's someone who has a sharp tongue and don't look attractive whatsoever. And like she's called people that, and like
Man.
when they like, cause this is like so, but like she's up front said that to me. Of course, not when the other people are here. So it's like she only does this like within the family, and she also doesn't tell these things to my dad because my dad has a big mouth and talks to the other people. So she basically only does this with
That's
me.
a dangerous lie.
I mean, she genuinely cares about all these people, but sometimes when your friends are acting really dumb,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you just the Dragon Girl one was because I had a classmate, and that classmate yelled at me because I was being stupid, but like it really upset me. And like my mom never put it together because like she doesn't remember the name of all of the people that I interact with. So she never put it together like the classmate that needed rides home from like working on art projects until like 5 or 6 p.m. was the same classmate that like a year ago made me really upset, so much so that like I didn't talk to anyone in school for like a week unless I had to answer a class question. So it's like she connected it, and she's like, "Oh, that's the person." She's such a and the Chinese is Kong Long Mei, which is dragon girl. Like the Mei is well, Mei is more of like little sister, but like that's what she kind of called her. I was like,
Uh huh.
wow, that was the first time I heard her insult someone. I'm like, she's really witty, and she has a really sharp tongue. Though it also
You should do
shouldn't
some
surprise me
stand up.
because like, oh, I don't know if I told you this story before. So as you know, like I hang out with a lot of the like when my freshman sophomore year, I was with a lot of the upperclassmen, and like they really like poking fun at me because I wasn't interested in starting a romantic relationship, right? So during one of the times when I was calling my mom, the three of the upperclassmen were like joking around and trying to yell into the phone like, "Oh, Kevin is like really interested in this really pretty girl and whatever," and she didn't hear any of it, but I thought she did. So when I got home, I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry if like you heard all this like background noise about people yelling about me having a girlfriend. That's not a thing." And like she's just like, "Oh, I didn't hear that at all." But like, aren't those people all like upperclassmen seniors? And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Aren't they all like super old and single?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "We need to find them a girlfriend because they don't have any more chances." And I'm just like, huh. All
That's
right then.
beautiful.
So, and like, I forgot what she said, but I messaged some of the upperclassmen, and they're just like, "Ouch, that hurts." And I'm just like, "Oh well, you wanted to make fun of me, and this is the response my mom gave
Wow.
you."
That's the perks of being old.
You
That's
insult people,
Kevin. That's Kevin when he's old.
just insulting people.
You'll have your salt and pepper hair. That's what you
Oh,
want, right?
yeah, I want salt and pepper hair,
Oh man.
or I would be okay if my
Attaboy.
whole hair was white, but yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't like. Some people walk up to me and pluck out white hairs, and I get really annoyed because I'm like, I want my white hairs. Nah.
Man.
Ugh.
Do you have any hairs in the most random places?
Define random of places.
I don't know. So this really bothers me. I don't know why. But on my foot, like on the instep part, like this part,
Yeah.
I have one hair.
I do have hairs there. I pluck them.
I'm just kind of like it's kind of annoys me, but it's also kind of funny because it's like this little baby.
I don't. I got this habit from my mom, but like if there's a hair that I don't like, I will just pull it out. If I feel like it doesn't belong. So like there has been times when there's a hair there. I'm just like, my foot doesn't have any hair, but this one hair, I'm pulling it out. It's not staying there. So it doesn't
Yeah.
help that I have somehow the tiny vanity mirror ended up in my room, as well as the tweezers. And so occasionally, my mom will just like come up, like she has the manners of like letting me know when she's coming up, and she's usually like taking like the laundry basket that I took upstairs and forgot to take downstairs. But then she just like she walks up to the mirror and grabs it, and she's like, "All right, time to like pluck out all the hairs that aren't supposed to be on my face and on my nose and like in between my eyes." And so like I got this habit from her of just like if I see a hair and it's out of place or I feel like it's out of place, I'm just going to like grab the tweezers and like pull it out.
Yeah. Your eyebrows look pretty nice.
I don't the only place that I
Yeah.
do pull is like right in the middle, like direct. I don't want my eyebrows to like connect and make a unibrow. That's like my only thing. But like other than that, like I don't usually pluck any hairs from like my around my eyes.
I see.
I just
Because I get hairs that grow on like the underside, and like
oh, that's never happened to me.
wow.
I did have a random really long strand of hair just growing out like my forehead. I was just really confused by it. And it was white too. I'm like, huh. It's
Oh.
just like white scraggly hair. I did say I want white hair. But it's really out of place. And like for a week I was debating if I should pull it. And it really bothered me, so I ended up pulling it out. So
Such a shame.
why? Who would want like a random one strand of forehead hair that's like not connected to any of your other hairline?
I mean, you probably don't want to have it. I think it'd be funny to watch.
Funny to whom? You can't see it. It was like whitish yellowish.
It's like one of those. If you ever have one of those like icebreakers, like what's a secret? You'll be like, look.
I think a better secret and or trick is I can still put my foot behind my head, despite being 21 and like over 200 pounds. I think that's just better, and it also freaks people out, which is more nice. Kind of like how I can twist my arm 180 degrees and bend my elbow backwards.
Wow. Such a shame that we don't have video anymore.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we showed this on the podcast. I don't remember.
Did we? I don't remember. But
like, I said this off screen, but like I blocked out everything that was on the last podcast. Anything I said, I don't remember. I choose to like eliminate it from my memory, because I have a feeling that I always feel like I say really stupid stuff at the most random of times, and I don't know when. And I'm not aware enough to like, or I don't put enough effort to be aware enough. So I feel like I'll just say something really stupid, or like something that I just can't explain to other people, and I don't feel like answering. So I just pretend that like this was never recorded.
attaboy. Keep laughing. Oh, but hair intrigues me so much. You have a happy trail?
A what?
Oh, you don't know what those are?
No.
Oh, never mind. I shouldn't say that.
Just go for it, unless it's inappropriate for your podcast.
Yeah, that's. I don't. I mean, no one can see it, but.
Oh, okay.
But the happy trail is when hair grows on your body and it goes up.
Oh no, I don't have that. Just because I just have hair consistently on my stomach.
Oh, wait. What do you mean? Like, is it all over?
Yeah, I just have hair all over my chest and stomach. It's not like long. It's not like it's not like long and curly. It's just like short, like arm hair or leg hair on like Asian people, like the slightly hairy Asian people. I just have consistently like fuzz all over my body.
Wow.
I don't like it. I really don't. It really bothers me, but there's nothing I can do about it.
You can do personal grooming.
Or there is something I can do about it, but I refuse to get waxed. I feel like it's going to be really painful. And I don't feel like dealing with it.
You only live once.
Yeah, but I've also seen people scream in pain, and I don't feel like dealing with that. I'm not masochistic enough to be like, I know this will hurt.
Well, then you can shave it.
Oh, I tried. It grows back in like a week. There's no point in shaving it.
Oh, all right.
Like, same with my, like, I don't grow long hair, but it's consistent hair. So it's just really dumb. I really don't like it. Like,
so you're not quite like a bear.
No.
Okay.
No. It's more of just like, it's fuzz everywhere. It's like, I know when I was younger, I was very self-conscious about being fat. So like when I would go swimming, I would always want a swim shirt. Not like, partially because it's easier to like not rub sunscreen all over your body, but it's also like, I felt like, oh, I'm a little bit tubby. I don't like that. At this point, like, I don't care. People can see that I'm fat. There's nothing wrong with, like, I don't care. Like, the only reason why I want to lose weight is so I can eat ice cream all that I want and like eat fast food all I want and not suffer any repercussions. But like, I still, like, if I go swimming, I'll still wear a swim shirt. That's more because like there's just like this, like, it's not peach fuzz, but it's like a little darker than peach fuzz hair just all over my stomach, and I really don't like that. So I'll just wear a shirt.
I think we'll keep talking about this after the podcast.
Oh God. Ah.
2 words. Nipple hair.
Oh no. No. Oh, I actually never pay attention to that, but I don't want to.
okay, Kevin?
I think I got a slight headache, but everything's fine. Ugh.
Well, I have nipple hair. It bothers me, but it also intrigues me.
I feel like a lot of things bother you yet intrigue you.
Indeed, that is true.
Should this be like the new name of your podcast? Things that bother me yet intrigue me.
Maybe.
I honestly haven't listened to the other one, so I wouldn't really know.
Okay.
But
Well, Kevin doesn't normally think about nipple hair. That's okay.
okay. I would like to say, and people in the comments can verify this. Most people don't think about nipple hair.
Yeah,
I just feel like that's just not something people think about. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the outlier. If I'm the outlier, thank God I'm the outlier. I'm just in a world of freaks who think about nipple hair.
Thank you, Kevin. My fellow freak.
I mean, I am very weird, but I don't know. It's just, I know I don't like my body hair, but like I also like, I don't think about where it is. I just know it exists. I can't think of a good analogy for that.
It's okay. It's okay. We can just sit in the tension.
Oh boy.
Well, that was uneventful. I thought we were going to go like, Kevin's philosophical like, well, if you just measure.
My philosophy on nipple hair that I never think of? That's
I didn't know you never thought about it. Now I do. Now we cleared up the situation. It's okay. We can move on with our lives, right?
I mean, it would make more sense if you like asked me about like existential things. So those are more likely the things I think about when I'm by myself.
Oh, I guess this is telling of what I think about when I'm. I mean.
It's like, wait, did I tell you about my childhood and how I thought about things? Or did I say that, talk about it on this podcast? I don't remember.
I don't
remember.
think so.
But like, ever since I was like a little kid, like whenever my parents go out without me, I'd require them to like call me when they arrive at their destination, as well as when they're leaving their destination. Not because I'm scared of being at home alone, but more of my thought process is while they're driving to the store or wherever they're going, I'm just like, what if my parents get in a car accident and they both die and I end up as a child of like 6 years old or 7 years old by myself in this house, and like I have 2 dead parents and I have a cousin who's like 20 years older than me, an aunt and an uncle that I kind of talk to but not really, and like that's all the family I have. And like, what if they just die and I just don't have parents anymore? And like that scared me a lot. And so like I required them, like whenever they left the house, they had to call me when they arrived at their destination. And when they arrived at their destination, I'm just like, what if there's like a robbery and like they get robbed at gunpoint and they end up getting shot anyways, and like they just end up dying? And then I also think about what if they got in a car accident when they're coming home. So there's a lot of like necessary, like you need to call the home phone so I know that you're not dead and I am not left alone. I never told them that part. I just emphasized that they had to call me when they left the house.
Man. That's dark.
I've gotten used to thoughts like that.
I know you. Man. From nipple hair to parental death.
I feel like that's also because I definitely meant talk to you about this, but I haven't talked about this on the podcast. I don't think. But like, there was a time because me and my mom were like really open. So like when I was a freshman in college, like she just randomly calls me and she's like, "Oh yeah, when the doctors were scanning, they found a tumor. They don't know if it's deadly or not, but if it's deadly, I might die." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And like, my mom and me have this really realistic, like, well, I guess if you're religious, it's realistic. Idea of just like, when we die, we'll go to heaven, so it's fine. It's like we're going to see each other again. It's not like permanent, but like, so it made it, and the fact that like I'm so used to thinking about like, oh, I'll be left alone, and like as an only child too, it's just like, with the death, I'll just be left alone, and like, because I always thought about it, I didn't really internalize it until like I talked to you, and then I talked to Nina, and then I talked to someone else, then I talked to Nina, and then I talked to you, and like the conversation I had with you made me like actually self internalize it, and then I ended up going to the library, going to the basement, and crying by myself for 3 hours because I internalized that my mom could die from cancer. Of course, they scanned it; it was benign, and she was fine. But at the time, I thought she was going to die, and yeah, crying in the limited basement of a public college basement is a very interesting experience. Would not recommend to other people. The floor is really cold, and there's no tissues anywhere.
Taking a moment of silence for Kevin.
She's fine. Like everything is fine now. Well,
yeah, I'm just like, what do I say?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, a lot of the things that like happen to me, as long as they're in the past and they're not like ongoing, I'm very like relaxed and open about them. Like I don't see any reason to hide it, or like, cause like it's in the past. It's like that's part of what built me up to who I am now. So like,
wow,
it's just something that happened, and like honestly, the weird things and the uncomfortable things make interesting stories to tell people.
Yeah.
When you're living them, they don't feel interesting and you hate them. But like looking back at it, it's just like, wow, I actually went to the basement of the UH library, found like a little nook that I could just like sit in, try to study, and then break down crying. And it's like very, very, I guess, surreal experience. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, looking back at it, it's just like, oh yeah, that happened. Like, it's just something that just happened.
Yeah. It makes me think of a really interesting question Adrian asked me.
What?
It's like, I don't know if this was on the podcast or not, but do you live more in the past, present, or future? Maybe that's a silly question, but I think it's pretty interesting.
I mean, that kind of dictates how you present yourself, right? Because like people who live in the past typically are held back by it, in my opinion. Like it's hard for them to move on. People who live in the future plan a lot of things, but like I would define people who live in the future as people who dream. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming, but like
if that's all you do.
If that's all you do, you're only going to be a dreamer. And like, well, so like if you only live in the past, you're only going to be a dweller. Like you only dwell on things. If you only live in the future, you'll be a dreamer. But like, and so like it's important to live in the present, but it's also important to like consider the future and remember the past, because like if you only live in the present, like you'll just keep making the same mistakes and like keep not planning for things. So it's like,
so you should live in all of them.
It's not living,
or like think about each one.
I think it's like, it's like consider them. For me though, I think I typically will live in the past. Um, More because the past is certain, so it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, these are things that have happened to me. Or like if the past is something I want to forget, it's just like I just forget it, and I'm like, oh yeah. And if someone reminds me, I'll remember. But like I'll legitimately forget about like stuff that happened, and like it's not perfect. Like I can't force myself to forget things like traumatic things, but like uh, if they're like something I kind of don't want to remember, and like I just like I don't feel like remembering this, I won't remember it, and so it's just like, but like a lot of the things is just like it's I like certainty to an extent, and so it's like it's easier to have certainty when you have the past to lean on. That being
Mm.
said, I also don't typically enjoy planning for the future. Not because I don't like planning. I actually really enjoy planning. But I've come to accept the fact that when you plan something, you need a plan for it to fail. You can't plan for it to succeed. Because success, like you should strive for success, like like for everything to work out perfectly. But like if that is your like your expectation that everything will work out perfectly, life will just like come in, slap you in the face, make sure you place plant in the ground and walk away. And
Mm.
so it's just like
That's a realist right there. But yeah, no.
so it's like I'd like to say I'm trying to live in like the present and plan for the future, but I probably dwell in the past a bit more than I should. So,
Mm. Cool, cool.
what about you?
What did I answer? I feel like on average it's probably present. I think. I don't know. But at the same time I feel like I just waste a lot of time and I just don't think as much as I want to. And
I feel
like
like that's present then.
yeah,
Um,
cuz like I'll do the past and future stuff, of course. Um but like it doesn't normally go super deep. Like especially into the future, it normally doesn't go very far. Maybe like the next day, or if it's like something like that, an event or something that really requires like the precision and the strategy and stuff to all come together, then well you have to.
yeah.
Um and then like with the past stuff, like we've talked about it before, but like I'll sometimes sit down and like reflect on things and like type stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like that might be like a session for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But like once that day is gone, the odds of me returning to that is like 5%. Like to continue thinking about it more and like
Mm.
continue writing and stuff. Um
I mean, I guess because like I don't think about specific days when I say I like dwell in the past. I don't really think about specific days.
mhm.
It's more of like if there's a structure that I know is works, I will be like I really want to like lean into that of like it worked in the past, therefore it should work in the present, which technically is not true because
Mm.
all new different mechanics, different people, different everything. As well as like if there's something I say that I feel like hurts people or like affected someone in a way that I didn't intend, it will probably linger with me for like a while. Or like like if someone made me feel a very complex emotion, like at random intervals when it's silent, it'll just come back to me and like I'll just like think about it and like process it even longer about like how I feel about that and like just like figure out like a lot of like so I think about like all these like past things that happen but like they're not like every single day are recounting the past. It's more of like there are like points of the past that I default to. So, and like I guess a big issue, like as a person who lives in the past a little bit, or I feel like I was a person who lives in the past a little bit more than like a person who lives in the present or future. A consequence of this is like I'm willing to explore until I find a comfortable place, and like until I find a system that works, and then from there on out, I'm willing to tinker it, but I'm never willing to make an overhaul, which is sometimes needed for different things. And like I'll like whether the overhaul is good or bad, I will always see it in a more negative light until it has completely proven itself. And like overhauls don't prove themselves in like a year or two. Well, some do, but like with like larger things, overhauls don't fix themselves within a year or two or three. Like overhauls take longer because like you're completely redoing everything. So it's like stuff like that.
Overhaul. That's an interesting idea. I wonder if I need a radical change in my life. Have you ever thought about something?
Like?
I don't know. It's a pretty random and recent thought, but I was just like, for the longest time I thought I would be like a homebody in like Houston, get a accounting job somewhere, just be at home here. Where was I going? But then I was like, wait, I don't know. This is just like so much in my comfort zone. I was like, how much am I gonna grow as a person? Just doing that over and over. It's like, what if I just threw myself out there to like, not exactly chaos, but like controlled chaos? I don't know. Or like just a different situation to, I don't know, become something new. It's very, very broad and vague.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's something I'm not as willing to do. I like I'd rather stay at home. Like I know a lot of people wanted to, like when they go into college, they want to leave home. They want to live on campus. Like it took so much convincing from like a bunch of people to convince me to live on campus my freshman year. My mom was thinking of kicking me out of the house to force me to live on campus. The youth director Zanetta, she went to UH and she was just like, dude, your first year you have to live on campus. It's like you're not getting a college experience if you don't go to campus. And like there's just like a lot of people encouraging me to like try living on campus once, and I'm just like, no, I want to be at home. I want to just be here, and I love being on campus once I moved there, but like I just hated the idea of like leaving home. It's weird.
It's not. It's like it's
the weird part is more of like when I think about it, it's like I say I'm a homebody and I say I don't want to change things, but like when I think about it, it's like me moving out to campus. I had a lot of fun living on campus. And I'm like, I wasn't like I did go home on the weekends to go help teach Sunday school, but like I didn't really interact with my family. I didn't even eat a meal with them because like I'd eat breakfast at schools to save money, and then I'd bring enough food or eat enough food so that when they picked me up a little after lunch, I'd still have food. And then like I'd sneak food out of the dining hall so I had more food for dinner. And so like I never really had to eat with the family. I literally only went to home to teach a Sunday school. So I went home on Saturday, I went to church on Sunday, and right after church I went back to school. Huh. Interesting. But
But that dynamic is changing, right? Because now, well, obviously now we all live at home, or most of us. But like before the pandemic and stuff, you were a commuter.
that's more of because I didn't feel like wasting money. Cause I love living on campus, but like
Okay.
not only was I wasting money, on like staying on campus, buying the food, it is also very easy for me to get distracted. Cause like when you commute, it's like you have to leave at a certain time. Like there are times when some friends will be like, "Oh yeah, you can sleep over," but like because of my mentality, like I would only accept that invite like once a week or twice a week. I wouldn't be like, "All right, I'm living at your place permanently," right? So it's like I have this pressure of like, "Hey, you need to manage your time. You can't just like be playing card games like either Magic or board games with your friends until like 4 to 5 a.m. Spend like 6 to 7 a.m. talking, go to class at like 10 or 11 a.m. really sleepy and not pay attention and rinse and repeat. Like that's not an option, and that's like the main reason why I chose to live at home. It was like the money aspect, but also like
Mm.
practicing self control of like you have to go home because you suck at like. I feel like I'm a good driver, but when I'm sleepy, I just don't pay attention. Like I'm kind of like how I play Pokemon Go when as a freshman. Like when actually I don't know if you heard these stories, but like when I was playing Pokemon Go when it became a big thing and I was playing at UH, um when the upperclassmen would play with me or like walk around, I'd walk into streets with oncoming cars because I trust that if there's a car coming, they would pull me back, or I'd get run over, and I didn't care because I wasn't paying attention. That's the
I've
same
heard this, but I just it's still.
thing. It's like, and like that's not like that wasn't an option for me because like it's dangerous if you're driving a car because like you're driving a missile at 40 miles per hour plus probably like 60 70 miles per
Yeah,
hour
yeah.
down like a highway and or intersections and stuff like that. So it's like you can't you can't be like, oh, I'm just going to like stay and play games with everyone till like 3 a.m. because my bed isn't upstairs. My bed is like 30 miles away. Not miles. How far is UH from here? 20 miles?
15, 20, yeah.
Yeah, 20 miles? Yeah. My house is like a little farther than yours, so like 25 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't spend that time like playing games. I need to go home. So,
Yeah. It's interesting putting as you get older you kind of choose to put like these limits on your life. I don't know if limit is the right word, but like
responsibilities, you accept them.
sure responsibilities that hey, I need to go to sleep at this time, wake up at this time, go drive. I don't know. Well,
I
I don't
mean, like
know.
when you're younger, the responsibilities you have are imposed by other people, and so like when you grow older and those people no longer have the ability and or choose not to impose regulations on you, you have to start imposing them yourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think it's really cool to see like entrepreneurs and like I guess small businesses and stuff. It's like I mean, it's obviously very scary to work for yourself.
mm-hmm.
You take on all the risk. You get no benefits. You probably work well, at least in the beginning. You work a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's so much freedom in what you get to do, and theoretically in your schedule too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, cause I've been thinking on and off about that idea, like of what would I do if I owned my own business? Because we've talked before. Like I don't, or I hope I don't work a desk job for my whole working life.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, what else? What am I gonna be doing?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have you thought about that, ish?
I mean, I don't think civil engineers will lead to a desk job. Like, regardless, even if I have to work at a desk 95% of the time, you are required to go into the field so that you make sure that like people are following the guidelines. Because like civil engineering is tied with like foundational and like infrastructure work. So if something goes wrong, people are dying and or suffering. So like a bridge built incorrectly, people are probably dying. A building foundation built incorrectly, people are probably also dying. Sewer system backing up, people aren't dying, but they'll suffer a lot from that. Or actually, people might die because bacteria and viruses and the way that works. So like, there's a lot of like, you need to go on the field if you're in civil. Also, like, I chose it because I like the idea of being able to design things. So
Right.
who knows? Or I might just like go work for a church or whatever. I don't know. Or like take care of children because that's enjoyable for me. Even though like not young children, because young children are okay to take care of, but sometimes they just give me headaches. Especially like, I think the only grades I don't like taking care of is 4th and 5th graders and possibly 6th graders. Because that's the age when they start realizing that they are like, they start getting this kind of overblown ego of like, we know enough, but they haven't learned enough to know that they don't know anything yet. So like, I don't remember if I told you this story, but like there's once I was helping my church's summer camp program. And there's this girl who like I was in charge so the first thing I had to like the first week of what I taught was like fun, cool food crafts. So like where there's like it was just like a break class that like the kids get to like make food in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were making like some Jello popsicles. And like this girl was going into 6th grade at the time. And right after she made it, she just walks up to me every time we're transitioning and she's just like, "Where's my popsicle?" And I'm just like, the other groups haven't made their popsicles yet. Just wait until everyone's made it and let them all freeze so you guys can all have it at the same time. I promise you'll get it. And every single class period, and she knew that like because we were cycling 5 classes, and so she knew that there's always someone who hasn't made popsicles yet. But she'd keep walking up to me and she'd be like, "Where's my popsicle? Like, I want it now." And I'm like, "Wait, child." Like, and then like later on, like, because her parents were a little late to pick her up. So like she and another student were discussing, and like I was also helping with the aftercare. I was on aftercare duty that week. And so she got in this conversation with the other leader and the student that was still there. And she was just like, "Oh yeah, like I'm so good at talking. Like everyone says I should be a lawyer." And I'm like, "I think I should." But I hate reading books. And the student's like, "But lawyers need to read a lot of books." And she's like, "So? I can do it." And then people are just like, "All right, but like, don't you need other things?" And she's like, "I can get them." And they're like, "How do you know you can get them?" And she's like, "Well, first of all, I know I can get them. Second of all, I'm selfish. I know it and I like it." And I'm just like, I didn't hear the rest of the conversation, but I really wanted to just like hit the person, which is really bad, but like,
It's
it's
understandable.
like, oh my god, like they're specifically at the age when they know that they are like, I guess smart, but like functioning human beings, and they know reason, but they also are super selfish, and so like those kids are nightmares. But like, it's actually I find it like enjoyable. Like, I've been with the same I've been teaching the same group of kids at church from when they were 2nd grade all the way up to now they are ninth grade. And it's like, wow, it's interesting to watch them grow. Some of them I only met when they were in sixth grade because of the way the church, like Awana system and Sunday school are different things and on different days. But like, so, yeah. As I don't know. We'll see where I end up. Who knows? My mom is like, if you decide to serve in church, I'll support that. And I'm like, cool, but I don't want to serve in church first.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. I mean, my whole thing about like serving in church is that, I mean, I haven't heard this joke in a while, but like there is a joke that like if someone can't pass school or can't do well in school, they go into ministry. And like that's a joke that happens in like Asian predominant churches. And so like if I want to go into ministry, I want a very stable job as an engineer and then quit it. And then go into ministry. Like to like I know that there have been people who do that, and like I don't even need to be like on pastoral stuff or whatever. Like if I'm just like a Sunday school teacher, I don't mind, but I don't like the idea of like people are like, oh yeah, the only reason why people are serving is because they couldn't make it in real life. And like I mean, it's not a stigma that's all over the place, but like I've heard it before and I don't like that idea. So I mean, if someone has a calling, that's a different story. But like me personally, I don't feel a calling to like serve beyond teaching Sunday school for my ninth grade guys. So like if I feel a calling beyond that, that's a different story. But before I feel a calling, I'm just going to do this.
I see what you mean. But I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure if I was in those shoes, it would affect me a bit. But at the same time, I feel like it shouldn't affect you.
No, it shouldn't affect people at all, but it's more of like because that mentality is there and because Asian parents typically focus on achievements, it's like they are less likely to recognize and trust in someone who they feel like is incompetent. So
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. It's unfortunate that it kind of has to be that way, but
I mean, it exists. That's
yeah.
Of course, it probably doesn't exist in a high degree, but it still exists. And, like,
Yeah.
it makes people stumble, so.
Yeah. That's for sure. Well, weird way to end, but it's been over an hour. It's been cool. It's been
I mean, you know me. You can say a topic and I can talk about it for a while.
For sure.
Unless I've never thought about the item at all. Then I can probably only prolong it for like 2 to 3 minutes.
Cool. Well, we'll go off. We'll talk about hair. And yeah. Thank you for listening. I hope there's been a lot of interesting topics. It's been the full spectrum. It was fun. Bye-bye.
Bye.